All right, kia ora, good afternoon, and happy NZSL week. Thank you for joining this New Zealand Sign Language webinar. My name is Micky Vale, and I work in the Deaf Studies Research Unit here at Victoria University of Wellington, and I'm responsible for looking after our online resources. I'll be the host for today's webinar, and that focuses on those resources that will help you learn and use NZSL. We'll be using the Q&A function, so if you'd like to submit a question based on what you hear today, just type it in, and then I'll aim to answer as many questions as possible at the end of this session. And the session will also be recorded, so it will be available later. Now, if you saw my colleague Sarah's webinar on Monday, then you'll already have taken a first step towards learning NZSL. And if everyone took the time to learn just a few simple phrases, that would make a big difference to deaf people's daily lives. And if you then wanted to take it further, an excellent choice would be to attend an NZSL class with a qualified deaf teacher. And I will show you where to find out about local classes later. But if a regular class is not an option for you, and you do want to make a start, then we've got this great alternative called Learn NZSL. Learn NZSL is a complete beginner's course. It's freely available. It has 9 topics that will help you use NZSL in everyday life. Each topic has 4 sections. There are words, which teaches you some vocabulary to do with the topic. In the phrases section, you will learn to combine these words following the grammar of NZSL. Then in a conversation, you will be shown the context to use those phrases in. And finally, the wrap-up session sums it all up and tests your understanding. There are hundreds of videos on the site, and it also has quizzes, fun activities, and includes cultural hints and appropriate communication behaviors as well. And the Learn NZSL practice community on Facebook will link you in with other learners. So there are self-organized Zoom meetups and other practice sessions as well. And you can ask questions from people who are learning alongside you. Now onto a resource that many of you may already be familiar with, the NZSL Online Dictionary. This is available online on this website here, and also as a mobile app, both for Apple operating system and for Android. But do be aware that the mobile app has more limited offline capacity, so it won't show the videos offline. One useful feature for learners is that there is a sign of the day, and you can click on that to show other signs as well. So that's a great way to keep up daily practice. You can search both by Te Reo Māori or English translations of the sign. But the dictionary is bi-directional, which means that you can also search for signs that you have seen where you don't know what the meaning might be. So you can choose the hand shape of a sign and its location. And then you will be shown the search results of any signs that match that hand shape and location. You can also search by topic, and there are a lot of topics to browse through. You can find those in the advanced search or at the top of the page under topics. There are also some usage categories. So if you're looking for very rare signs or very new signs or informal signs, you can find those there as well. If you click on Learn More in any of the search results, you will be taken to a full page of information for that sign. Here you can play the videos. You can play them in slow motion or at normal speed, or you can play them full screen. There's also an example sentence showing the sign in context. And underneath that, you will find, as well as a translation, there are also some blue hyperlinks. So if you see any other signs in the example sentence that you want to look up, just click on those and you'll be taken to the information page about that sign. You'll also find some grammatical information. For example, that this sign can be produced with 1 or 2 hands and that it can be inflected in particular ways. If you wonder what these terms mean, then just click on the link and it will take you to the help page. There are often multiple search results, and that's because there are often a variety of signs in use for the same concept. The usage information in some signs will tell you why there are certain variants. But if you're not given any other information, then you can assume that the sign that shows up first in the search results is often the most frequently used. So unless you are in a class or you know deaf people personally, in which case follow their lead, follow what they use. Otherwise, you can usually assume that the first sign is the most frequent. The usage information, if there is any about a sign, will be shown on the sign page. You can play the videos directly from the search results, but you can also play them, like I showed before, on the page itself. Now, the next exciting thing we can do is download these drawings or create our own vocabulary sheets. You can add multiple signs either directly from the search results or from the information page. And then when we view the vocab sheet, we can reorder the signs. We can change the translations. And you can also give it a title. You can choose different layouts. And there's also a notes page in case you wanted to make your own notes. And you can then download the vocab sheets as a PDF or print them out directly. So I hope you can see how useful the dictionary can be as a learning aid. Just remember that learning a language involves more than just learning the words, or in this case, the signs. You need to make sure you also pick up something about the grammar. And you'll find some grammatical information in the tabs that I'll show you shortly. And if you join my colleague Rachel McKee's webinar on Friday, you will have the chance to get another taster of some of the most interesting grammatical aspects of NZSL. The dictionary shows information about fingerspelling, also about numbers, because there are complex number systems, and about something called classifiers. In the bottom tab, you can be taken to the download pages for the app. And there's also information about NZSL facts, some learning activities, and some other links. Now, there may be some concepts that you're trying to talk about in NZSL, but when you look in the dictionary, you can't find a sign for them. It's only relatively recently that NZSL has started to be used in a larger variety of contexts. Before that time, just like Te Reo Māori, it has a history of being actively banned in schools. And so, although it's now recognized as an official language of New Zealand, it is also still revitalizing and growing. The online dictionary does try to keep up with newly developing signs. In fact, we've just added 150 additional signs last month. And that includes signs such as COVID-19 and mask and other signs that have become, unfortunately, all too common. But before a sign is added to the dictionary, we do check whether it's in widespread use. And we ask the deaf community members to validate them. But in the meantime, there's quite a lot of information in the dictionary that we need to add. And so it may take a while for those signs to appear in the dictionary. So what do you do in the meantime? Well, this is where NZSL Share comes in. NZSL Share is an online community space where new signs can be shared and discussed. The signs that you see here for example, these recently added signs are contributed by the deaf community themselves. So by people who use NZSL every day. You can see that more than 500 signs have already been added in the past 2 years. And all the signs can be viewed and then reordered so that you see the most recent ones first. As well as the topics that you saw in the online dictionary, there are also some new topics to browse here. And that ranges from digital technology, where we will probably expect quite a few new sites, to the name signs for famous people, to space and astronomy, and also the deaf education provider Kotaku Reo has also added some glossaries for curriculum terms, and more are to come this year. You will also find signs for things that are at the forefront of people's minds, such as current events and news like the cannabis debate or COVID-19. When you search for a sign, you'll also see there if there is already a sign for that concept in the dictionary with the same meaning. If there are both dictionary signs and community signs, then use the dictionary sign in preference because those have gone through our validation process. Again, there's more information if you actually click on a particular sign. So just like in the dictionary, you can see the video itself, but you can also go to more information about the sign. Here you can see that there are ticks for how many people agree and disagree with that particular sign. That option is available to approved users, so fluent NZSL users who can comment on each other's signs. The person uploading the sign can also add extra information. So for example, this person has provided a background of why they chose the sign and an example sentence. And then you'll be able to read the comments that other people have made about these signs. As learners of NZSL, you can also set up an account. And that allows you to save the signs you see in private folders, or even upload your own private videos that you can share with others. So you can set up lots of folders, you can collaborate with other people in those folders, and this handy icon here will allow you to add signs to those folders for easy reference later. You can find out more about the website in your own time on the About link, and make sure to check the rules for usage and our privacy policy as well. We also have a Facebook group called NZSL Share Requests, and that is where you can ask about signs that you haven't found in the dictionary yet. And if there are signs in use in the deaf community, then hopefully one of our approved members will upload that sign to NZSL Share. We've got some more improvements coming to the site this year, so keep checking in to the website regularly. Now, if you wanted to take your NZSL journey further, then Victoria University of Wellington has a range of NZSL papers at first, second, and third year level, and you can find out about those at this link. If you wanted to take a community education class or find a tutor for face-to-face or online classes, then the Teach Sign website has those details of qualified tutors along with homework activities and other useful resources. Happy NZSL week and happy learning. Thank you.